renounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all want a ring. Yeah, we all want to be free.
Welcome to another live show on LNU. We got a great one for you today, but right now we got 39 in the building with only 19 likes. Smash that like button because we got a GOAT in the house. Chrissy, take this thing over.
That was it? That was the only intro that I got?
Yep.
Okay, I thought it was going to be a little more extended. So we're super excited to have our very first in-studio live interview with the one, the only, Mr. Jason Hanson.
Yay! Yay!
That's right. So we were talking this week about kickers. Dose was expressing his love of kickers. And as we were talking about that battle, you know, I said, we got to bring Jason in because he's so much fun. And this would just be such an exciting conversation to have between, you know, Dose and Jason and everybody else. So where I would really like to start is because Jason isn't as familiar with this insane group of content contributors. So I would love you guys to introduce yourselves to him and just talk a little bit about your channel and what you love about the Lions.
I'm Mike, Micro Mike. I love everything about the Detroit Lions, particularly when we win instead of lose. And I love talking to GOATs, and we got one here today with Jason Hanson. So appreciate it coming on, and let's have some fun.
It's your boy Rad. I'm out here in Rip City, Portland, Oregon. Born and raised in Pontiac, Michigan. I grew up a Lions fan. I grew up watching both of y'all, Jason Hanson, Herm. Y'all both legends in my eyes. I appreciate the invite, and I'm excited to talk to you tonight, baby.
I'm Mark Oram from Windsor, Ontario, Canada, right across the street from Detroit. I've been watching Jason, watching Herman Moore, man, since I was a little kid. I'm probably one of the oldest in the building right now. But I love my Lions forever, and this is a great opportunity. I love it. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my name has changed from Troy to Dose. So I'm going to roll with that. They call me Dose, man. And, you know, I'm excited for this because we get to talk to Jason Hanson, and we needed this. This is what the people needed right here. I've been trying to tell them, Jason, about the kicker position. I've been trying to tell them how this is the most fun battle to watch in training camp. This is what you keep your eyes on, and they don't believe me. Look, you see the dude laughing? I sent him a clip of me kicking some field goals, and he's trying to break it down and tell me he can go out there and knock a 30-yarder out right now. I don't believe him. So thank you for coming on, and I appreciate seeing all of you guys again.
All right. So why don't you introduce yourself, Jason?
I'm Jason Hanson here at the invite of Chrissy and Herman. And, man, this is great. It's great to be talking Lions football and be included. And life's good for me right now.
You know what's funny, Jason, man? I was looking at a old throwback 1995 article. It's like, you know how they give, like, it's called like the Lions Den or Pride of the Lions or something. It was like the newspaper they put out.
Yeah.
And we look a lot different, man. We had the same haircut. You know, we had a consistent, brother from another mother haircut then, and we got the same haircut now.
Yeah.
So that's what's up.
Yeah,
hey, man, it was nice, man. And you know what the interesting part was? Is I went through, and this is true story, everyone. In the pages, it had Chris Spillman, Lomas Brown, Barry Sanders, myself, and Jason Hanson. Boom.
Wow.
So who stayed around?
Hey, those are the guys that
Chris
stayed.
Spillman,
Yeah.
Lomas Brown, Jason Hanson, Herman Moore, Barry Sanders. It was cool. The irony. 1995.
Man, that's a long time ago.
I know, right?
Was it like real newspaper print or was it like magazine print?
No, man, this was like old school newspaper that was
yellow and faded now?
yeah. So it was like faded. It's got a little bit. You know what? I don't know what the rules are, but being able to maybe reprint those
You probably can't.
Can't.
I don't know. I will say, though, someone on our panel, I won't name names, was not born in 1995.
Let's see.
Uh-oh.
Dose.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Our fan of the Kickers.
Yeah, man, 2001.
2001.
Was that you, Mike?
Wow. Was it
2001.
Yeah. So you didn't have many kicking battles in your day, Jason.
There was a couple. Sometimes they wouldn't even bring a kicker in. That's kind of when you knew you had a good year the year before. Sometimes they'd bring a kicker in if they did, so you could share the load. There was a couple years, I think, that they were like, let's keep him on his toes. And maybe there was 1 or 2 years where it was like, he doesn't know this, but he better do well or he's gone. So, but there was generally a guy in camp more often than not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was telling him about your incredible sense of humor. Do you consider yourself funny?
Yeah, that's up for debate. Depends who you ask. I'm not comedian funny, right? Where you can just give me a joke. But I know how to make fun of people, like Herman. And so when that happens, I can do it. Kind of spontaneous. So once in a while, I get a laugh. My wife's heard all the jokes. She doesn't think it's funny.
Okay.
But sometimes.
So one of the really cool things that we want to do is give our panel the opportunity to ask you some questions.
All right.
We're trying to make sure we're turning up our volume right now so we can hear you guys. So if you can speak loud, that'd be great. But I want to start with Dose, because he's been really intrigued by the kickers and the kicker battle, and he thinks it's going to be one of the things to watch in training camp. And so I want to give it to him to see what kind of questions he has for you.
Oh, absolutely. And this is the place to watch. I mean, it's such an important position, but for some reason sometimes it goes under the radar. But this is actually it's actually a very legit question here, because I wonder about this, and I don't know if I have necessarily the stats to back this up, but it feels like it's always goes like this. When a kicker comes out of college, it always seems like statistically they are pretty inconsistent. Why does it maybe that you see kickers take such a big jump in the NFL? I always feel like, I don't know if this was legit. I looked at your stats. It said you were 10 for 22 your season year. First season with the Lions, you were 21 for 26. So I just wonder in general why you think maybe kickers are able to come in and take such a massive jump and, of course, improve throughout their career versus what they did in college.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that kickers are better in the pros because the snaps and holds are better. You get a lot more inconsistency in college with the snapper and holder. And, it was always fun to take the credit when I made it, but, when you missed, we're a unit. And so that takes all three, the snapper, holder, and the kicker. And in the pros, you get professional snappers and holders, or at least it's become that way. I think even in my career from when I started, they tried to use a quarterback, or they really wanted a lineman who could snap for the roster position. And so sometimes they would compromise. And it's gotten to the point to where kicking's a big deal. The games are close. You need points. So they've realized we have to have the best holder and snapper. And so that really helps guys come in and have the very best unit around them, makes their job easier. I think number two is sometimes in college, you get the hashes are wider. So you get kicks that are a little bit more an angle. And you get some tough college kicks when you get up close and you're 35 yards and you're really, you're not quite 45, but it can feel like that. Where in the pros, the hash marks are in line with the uprights. So you're a little narrower. It's a little more consistent kick. So I think those things probably are why you can have someone who's a really good college kicker and maybe didn't have the stats that you need. But in general, the better kickers did well in college too.
This is what I'll say about it. I could definitely blame my missing of field goals in that video on the holder. That's what I take from that. So I appreciated this. My dad was not holding very well. That's what I'll take from that one. I also have a second one I want to kicking. Oh, dude, you need to see it. So if there's any way, let him see that, especially
Mike, do we have the video?
Well, we have the clip. Want me to play it?
Let's see it. Yeah.
All right, here's the clip, folks. We got to see what he can do here.
All right. Now I need to know what's wrong with the phone. He looks good. Look. All right.
You didn't even set yourself. You didn't even set yourself.
Wait, there was a glitch in the video.
You see the shake too? You see the shake in the arms? Ooh,
Okay, that was better. That was better.
You know what? That wasn't quite as bad, man. It just needed like 12 more feet on each side of the goalpost, and just got to widen the goalpost, man. That's all.
Tips, Jason. Tips, critique.
I can't help that. You're on your own. No, but definitely the holder. Definitely the holder.
Thank you. I appreciate
100%.
that, actually.
So I do wide receiver Wednesday, so you can do tragic kicking Thursday.
There's a lot of clips we could use.
Yeah.
If I could ask a follow-up, I have an interesting follow-up. Was there a time, like, first off, did you have a soccer background? Because I know all of the guys that I know, they kick well, they all played soccer. And secondly, is there like a moment where, like, when you first do it, you're like, dang, this is kind of natural? Because I feel like my kick there didn't look very natural, so I don't know if I'm cut out for it. But was there like a moment you're like, man, I'm natural field goal kicker? Or was it just like a slow burn and it was like, hey, you eventually got there?
Yeah, so I was a soccer player, and all my buddies were football players. And I was really into soccer, wasn't into football. And so when I got to high school, boys soccer out west in 1988 was in the spring. So my fall was free. Soccer wasn't year-round quite as much as it is now. So my fall was free. All my buddies were football players, went out and played football. Got into my first couple meetings and was like, I have no idea what they're talking about. I'm not doing this. And so I went and kicked. That's what I knew how to do. And I was just kind of surviving off of the soccer kick. And then through the years, I've learned if you can kick a soccer ball, you can kick a football. But there's just one specific way you do it in football. So fast forward, 15 years later, I went back and my brother was a high school soccer coach. And I went out with the kids, and they were like, let's see this guy kick a soccer ball. And they gathered around, and they were like, he's going to break the ball. It's going to be amazing. And I hit it, and they were just like that video there. They were just ducks, right? They were just like sidewinder. They had awesome spin, but they were like totally like, they were like, what? This is horrible. Because the way I was kind of hitting it was I got so used to kicking a football, just something with my foot. So then we put a football on a tee, and then it was different. We kick it 5 times as far as the guys. So I had to learn how to kick a football from a soccer background. Walked on at Washington State. And then just through the years had some graduate assistants, right? I got a couple at Washington State. They were actual kickers. Helped me out a little bit and just experience, learned how to do it. But yeah, it was a soccer background. And that was something I always could do. I wasn't like lightning fast. I wasn't like 4.2, 4.3 speed. I wasn't honestly. No. Sorry.
You didn't run a 4.2.
Neither were you, though, buddy.
Hey,
Don't even start.
Uh-oh.
I know what I just said.
I was a 4.33.
You were not a 4.33.
4.41.
No, you were 4.5 something.
No, come on, man.
Or were you?
Yeah, I was a. Man, hey, listen. I'm gonna talk to you after we're done here. Hey,
Jason chased down some
Wait,
players, made some tackles.
I could have. Okay, so I didn't have Herman Moore speed, but I could always kick a ball. That was weird. This is something I could always do. And you find that with people that make it to the higher levels. There's a lot of things I learned. There's a lot of things people train and develop, but usually it's something that they could always do, right? I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm just saying to make it to the pros and you get to that level, it was something you could always do. I could always do that. So, sorry.
No, I just went back and watched a few of your film, man. When you were just always Dose and I we teased about this last show, and you always cringe. I always thought it was comical. It was like Benny Hill for me because I was like, when the guy breaks free and the kicker's got to get him, I go, this is gonna be good. This is great Monday morning film. But not with you. I can honestly say it was like Jason's gonna blow this guy up.
For the record, I think I brought it up.
I went back and watched all your tackles, which there shouldn't be many for the kicker, but
Right.
when there was, you were all right.
But what I also brought up, though, was your awesome kind of play-by-play introspection, what actually goes on in your mind during that tackle process was one of my favorite Jason stories, when you would talk about what it was like.
We need pure terror.
And then after you would tackle and then kind of, that what everyone was seeing versus what you were thinking and feeling at the time.
Now that is true, because there was a good chunk of my career where I had secret pride that I didn't blow up too many people, despite what Herman said, but I usually got something on them, right? I could stop him or I grabbed him, and a couple times I hit him. But I remember we're playing the Packers, and they put Najee Davenport in as a returner. Najee Davenport was like 250. You don't see that in returners usually. You usually see, the guys that are fast and cut. Yeah. They were like, they told Najee Davenport, get the ball and go up the sideline, get us our 30 yards when we're coming on the field. So this guy, he's a fullback, roughly. He breaks through. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I run over the sideline and makes a cut, and I hit him. I hit this dude, and we go down, and my face mat, my helmet wasn't tight, it kind of went to the side. But I literally get up, and I'm like, my first thought was, wait till they see that on film. That was awesome. And the crowd, just because you're the kicker, right, was cheering. So I'm like, they're affirming this was awesome. So we get into the film the next day. I had basically just grabbed his thigh. And he just kind of ran over me. And I looked like an idiot. And I remember, I think I even hit, I don't know if it was Muehlbach or who it was at the time. I was like, dude, watch this. And it was so embarrassing. I thought I hit him in the chest, squared him up. And so I'm not a football player. But I usually could. I get a hold of him or something. And
did it feel good, though? Did it feel good at the time?
Well, at the time, of course it did. There was another time, too, where we played Denver, and the guy broke free. And, again, you're on the sideline, they're still laying him, and he cuts, and I grab him. But as I grab him, all the pursuit had got there, too. And so, 8 dudes go over the top of me like this, and I get up, and I don't know what had happened, but somebody's, near hand had kind of gun up in my face. And I, Novocaine from the dentist, I couldn't feel my face. I couldn't talk. And I go over to the sideline, and our trainer just kind of walked up next to me, didn't look at me, and just kind of said, "You okay?" And I was like, "I can't feel my face." I can't tell dudes that. That's that's what happens to every play. But I literally was for a quarter, I was like, man, nobody interview me or talk to me because I can't speak. But that's the kind of stuff that happens to a kicker. Again, on film, it looks stupid, but...
Is that what you experienced when you got tackled?
I'm just sitting there going, man, I played the wrong position. It seemed like all the action was over there in special teams. So I sold myself short. Plus, I didn't get to play... What did you play, half century?
Yeah, right.
Something like that. No, it's 20 years.
20 years. Yeah, 20 years.
That's amazing. But I always tell people, I tease, I go, Jason would have probably been, I'm thinking probably top 1 or 2 in terms of best friends on the team. If I had known this version of Jason Hanson, we're more compatible than I realized. He probably thought I was a jerk. And I was sitting there going, man, this guy, he's not doing anything. He was over there playing around, golfing and kicking footballs and stuff. He's not doing anything. And but got to know this guy, man. Just amazing stories, hilarious as you could tell. And I can say the word hilarious.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Well, the funny thing is, football, kicking, I didn't perform well if I was loose. If I was joking. Some guys are great at that, just stay calm, relax, what's up on the sideline. I don't know, either I filled myself, I didn't do well with that. So I was a little more serious and man, this game could come down to me. I'm already nervous about it. I better just get serious for 3 hours. And during practice, right, I'm doing my thing. So just the guys who were like, you have a personality. Because it was we were hanging around me when I had one. When it was football time, I tended to be a little more serious. So,
yeah, I did enjoy. I was telling the guys about the fact that I asked them, first of all, I said, do you guys realize how funny Jason is? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh, I guess that didn't come across then. I don't know. But how, especially, when I was there, so I was there from Mariucci through Jim Schwartz. So you'd been there. And when things would get rough, or even when they were good, the media would go to you when they needed the real answer, because you could say you have the credibility and you were able to pull from all of your experience.
Yeah, it was weird sometimes to be talking about the game as the kicker. I always knew, right, who I was and what I was doing, and try to gain the respect of the guys from just working hard. But I wasn't a football player like they were, so it was always kind of awkward to talk about the game, right? And especially the 0-16 season, I was the go-to guy, and I'm like, why am I the guy that's talking about this?
You really wonder why you were the go-to guy during 0-16?
Well, I didn't want to be the guy. I didn't
Yeah.
want to be the guy talking about it, and but I don't like pat athletic answers. I don't like the whole, hey, you win some, you lose some, we'll go get it next week. Everybody's doing their job. It's like, what are you talking about? We were terrible. And the fans, I didn't do it for the fans. It just was like, well, they saw it. What are you talking about? And if you say that, then people are like, I'm not going to get along with this guy because that answer was horrible. And so I felt like if you just were honest, the fans, they know it, and why hide? And so sometimes joking was trouble too, because if you do dry humor and it goes out in print,
Yes.
and that happened a couple times where it's like, that was way funnier than that sounded. So I had to be a little bit careful. You learn, but it was all good.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's throw it out. So, Rad, you got to have something back there. So, talk to Jason. What do you got for him?
I just want to know, because I played college football and I knew what kickers did at that level. Can you walk us through a practice of like an NFL kicker? Just because at the college level, they was drinking a lot of water and coking and joking. I want to know, what was it like? Walk us through like a practice on the NFL level of a kicker.
Okay.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, because one of the things that's interesting is I think people don't understand how much time that we actually spend on the field. So again, we weren't fighting and grinding and sprinting, like the guys for 2.5 hours. But generally, we were out. You can't even keep a straight face when I say that.
No, I'm just laughing because I know I have a different take. I want you to finish because I have a take that I want to add to with kickers.
I'd like to hear what kickers do at the NFL level.
It's going to be real. I know, Rad, I'm with you because there's something I want to add that I just.
So answer that with this waiting for you.
Wow,
That should be good.
Waiting in the wings.
Yeah. Anyway, so we were out there usually 45 minutes before practice started because many times there would be a pre-practice punter, kicker, receiver, returners. So you'd be warming guys up. And then a lot of times the very first thing that happened in practice was a special teams thing, field goals or punts or something. So you had to be ready for that. And then as soon as that was done, right then, when everybody started doing offense and defense and doing the things, we would take off, but we would be working on, I'd go kick field goals for 45 minutes to an hour. And then as soon as I was done, the punter would be up and he would go do his thing for an hour. So most of the practice between the two of us, we were doing something. And maybe the last half hour or something would get on the field. And then a lot of times after practice, we would hang around and some guy wanted work or the returners, or you'd work on something else that needed to be worked on. So, now, we weren't doing the grind like the guys, but we were out there a long time. And, so that's what we do. You would be surprised at the pros, between the punter and kicker, you can spend most of the practice working on something. And then by Friday, it was light work. So on a Friday, you're getting ready for the game, you put in bulk of your work, you're getting maybe a little bit of stuff done and shutting it down. And Saturday, nothing, and then the game.
Gotcha.
All
okay.
right, Herman.
I just needed to know.
I just needed to know.
And this is real talk, right? I would much rather take and pick the most ferocious safety in the NFL at any given time and have to face them going across the middle with a pass from a terrible quarterback than to be a kicker that's got to come out and kick a game-winning field goal.
For
real
sure.
Talk. I cannot. I just can't
We didn't
even
expect
fathom.
that, did we, Jason?
I can't even fathom. You're just sitting. You just don't know when you're going to be needed, right? You go in, you kick a couple extra points, you kick some field goals. Even just kicking field goals, it's like you have no room for error. Like you're expected to be literally 100%. In worst case, high 90s, mid 90s. Anything under that is like, what happened, right? If you made 9 out of 10, it's like. But you think about the success rate you have to have, the dependability you have to have, and the range and the angles and all. The hold. There's a lot of things that are a little different. So I tease about it and I joke about it, but I'm telling you, that is not. If you say, Herman, you could pick, that would be the last position I would pick to play in the NFL. Boom. There you go.
I feel it.
No way.
That pressure.
Too much pressure.
I'd be a long snapper. Long snapper.
You get a
Yeah,
long
long
career.
snapper. Punter.
I agree with you because just my personality, I would have much rather been out there fighting and doing, battling.
Tackling thighs and stuff.
Tackling thighs, man. That just doesn't even sound right. But I would much rather be doing that. I didn't love the sit on the sideline. That was part of the reason we talked about, not joking or something. I did not like just sitting there waiting and the buildup of emotion and everything. And I probably didn't have the best kicking personality. And I mean that sincerely. There's guys who just, they can go with it and they step out there and they're like, this is what I'm here to do. Watch this. And I'm much more like, feeling everything. And so whatever, I did what I was supposed to be doing. But that was something that I had to learn, was how to go out there and, from the time it's 1.25 seconds when you kick the ball and then you're off the field. Anyways, whatever. But
So what do you mean? So what do you mean you didn't have the best kicking personality? Like, did people try to talk to you and you yelled at them, or what? Like,
No.
what happened?
I think what I mean is I'm probably more high strung. I don't know if you call it type A or something.
So there's kicker's etiquette?
Well, there's probably kicker's composure, but I don't know what I'm saying, other than I would rather have been running around and, you get in a big game and it's a big moment, you're nervous. It probably takes, one hit or it takes something before you're like, oh, okay, now it's on, just to break that, tension or excitement or nervousness. Mm-hmm. And kicking, sometimes it was like kickoff, big game, and you're just standing there for 25 minutes and trying to wait, and then you go out there. Now, again, guys do it at the highest levels and whatever. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I think I would have enjoyed more running around competing. It wouldn't have been football, right? I'm a kicker. I didn't have the build for it. But, like you see soccer, those sports, you're always doing something.
You shouldn't have had such a good team that's going down, the coverage team. You just need to have you just, coach, you know what? I need really bad guys. I need just linemen.
Yeah.
And then you got these guys breaking free all the time.
Yeah, so I can get in the game.
And then you can get there, man, and show your thing.
Right.
I will. Can I say one more thing real quick?
Yes, you can say one more thing.
So I have to go here because I'm curious. Now, many of you have seen Jason Hanson, and you've seen him go through phases of his kicking stance and posture.
Yeah.
Now, I know we cracked
I remember
up
that.
and killed you with a couple of them that you used to do.
I remember that.
What you start one way and you evolve into a way. Is that by choice? Is it by watching and emulating someone else or wanting to change? Is that by design on your end, or is this like kind of this whole ingredient base of?
Do you have one you can show us?
Yeah, this one right here.
No, don't. Come on.
The one that Jason's kind of like this. Let me make sure I'm in our camera here. All right, when he goes. You can't see that one, but I'm just telling you, man. He's got that leg way back. He's got that arm out there right there like that.
He used to. I remember he used to put his arms out. yeah, I remember him.
Because he started out, man. You were just like the normal kicker, man. You were just up here like this, and you got it done. And then all of a sudden, it went into something strange. It's like I didn't know if you got threatened or if it was just you get ready to go down the kicker runway, or I don't know. What is this? You been a diva? What was that?
So with that setup,
there you go.
Yeah, defend myself. It was all just technique, and I said, I don't care what.
You saying that with a straight face?
I did. No, it was all technique, and it was just I'm going to do whatever it takes, and I don't care what it looks like. And after a while, I was like, I think I care what it looks like. I'm not sure I like how it looks, and actually, some of my best years were doing that, which is the weirdest thing. It simply was, so I came in the league and I was really like 3 back, 3 wide. I was super wide. I was just ripping the ball because that's what we did in college and hit a lot of long field goals, trying to make 80-yarders every kick. But then all of a sudden I was like, I need to be more consistent. And when we were getting on some bad fields, it was like I was coming in too wild and was having trouble like keeping my feet. So as I kind of I started getting on my right toe in the back a little bit instead of just standing flat-footed, kind of started like a sprinter getting up on my right toe. But as I did that, it was like I was like losing my balance a little bit, and I thought that's stupid. Just get your balance. So I kind of put my arms out. But then I was kind of, it makes sense in my brain. And then I kind of got him out a little more, and so I would balance myself.
And you always did this one, right? Didn't you always do the shimmy
I had
thing?
a shoulder shake
a little shimmy in there.
He always did the shimmy.
He dropped his shoulders back. He dropped them back.
Yeah.
I remember it like it was yesterday because you're my favorite
Yeah.
kicker of all time. He would drop his shoulders. He would. He used to drop his shoulders and do that slow twist.
Yeah.
And bam, automatic. We got our 3.
The shoulders is just quirk, right? That's just like, I don't remember what I did, a little shoulder shake or something. Like anything that you do a rhythm, I don't know, it's free throw or something.
Like when you bounce twice before you do
whatever.
the
I don't know. I just that little thing. I don't know why.
How was that again, Jason?
No, that's the last time you're going to see it. So, anyways, yeah. So it all was technique, and then I think there was a point where I was like, do I really need to do all this? Actually, you know what it was? Is I was spending so much time getting on the stance. And when I would get in the stance and it was perfect and I hit the ball, there were times I think I got in a rhythm where it was like I knew I was hitting the ball just right. I mean, it was perfect end over end. But it was like this whole process to get it. Was like, this is silly. There's dudes that are doing the same thing and they're just going flat-footed and ripping it. So I kind of, then as the years went on, kind of simplified it and kept some of the stuff. But yeah, there was an era when, I didn't think much about what it looked like and went for it. I can tell it's still burned in your memory.
No, it's not. No, it's that. And then I just started thinking about, other than your biggest rival being the goalpost, like do kickers, like you look at another kicker and go, yeah, here he is. He's coming out there. And like I used to see Jerry Rice and I would see like Chris Carter and they make a catch, you'd be like, damn, that was a nice catch.
Yeah.
Like that, or you like, man, I got to go make a catch, or you didn't get the ball, you're not getting the ball. Like if you see a guy kicking a lot of field goals, you go, man, he got 5 field goals already. When am I gonna get a field goal? I mean, do you?
I think a little bit.
What is the tension and the rivalry of it just bring you into the game? And you're just like, yeah, got this.
Yeah, somewhere between that and what you're saying
And who was it? Or were they?
Well, okay, so sometimes I would watch a guy make field goals and he would go 4 for 4 and they would win and they were garbage. They were like, they weren't good kicks. I mean, they weren't good kicks and they were like low, and it was like, from a kicker standpoint, you're like, that's
subpar at best.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. My 45-yarder that went wide left that would have been good from 65 that was end over end. Who cares if it goes through the middle? So there's a little bit of that, like, man, that guy's getting all the love, and what? That's not good.
Kicker envy.
A little bit.
Or sometimes you'd see a guy hit a ball and you'd be like, ooh, like that was nice. Like
Did you see the Ravens game last year?
I was just about to ask
Tucker?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Justin Tucker is the best field goal kicker ever.
There he is, Justin.
ever.
Yeah, he just. I think ever. Yeah, he doesn't miss. He doesn't miss when it counts. He makes long field goals, and he just does it all the time. And he kind of is an enigma to me because he comes pretty hard at the ball. He's not as wide as I used to be, but he really comes at it hard. And that was something I was like, when I did it, I was like, phew, my foot. He keeps his feet, and yeah, I say that because I don't think there's any argument. I don't know who's done it better than he has up to this point. He's really just been incredible. And it's like not even close. So it's not even like I have to pretend like, yeah, he ain't that good. It's like.
Everybody in this room probably cried that game.
Yeah, he did it twice to the Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah, Soul was sucked out live.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, and there's a group of kickers, that you think could hit it. And I think back in the day, I might have made him practice something that far. Who cares? He did it in the game at the most clutch moment. It's just like, whatever, that was awesome. So, there's a group of kickers who are really good that you're like, secretly you're like, I'd like to take my old tape and put it next to them because I think maybe they get a little beat down. But something like that, I'm like, whatever. You can have it. That's just too good.
Does anybody have a favorite game-winning field goal Jason Hanson memory?
I got a great moment, and this is why it makes him the GOAT really quick if you want to see this. This is the greatest moment here.
I remember that.
He got the football back, tackled the guy.
Tackle and recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you do that video, I grab the ball and then I go into the fetal position so fast. I grabbed it and I was like, it's all. I'm like, nope, I'm out because I'll get killed. And so it kind of ruins the effect. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, for most of my career, I could at least not look stupid when a guy came through and I could get something on him, couple open field tackles, whatever. But there was a couple times at the end of my career, you're still lying to yourself. I was like 41, 42, and I'm like, I'm out here with these guys. I can do this. And I think it was Minnesota. The guy came through. And I'm like, got him. No, I don't. He was gone. I mean, I ran. I thought I had him, and he was by me. And so I was like, yeah, I better be careful.
Pull anything? Nothing like that.
Didn't pull
You
anything.
ever pulled a hamstring? Ever?
I pulled my quad playing softball the other night, but that's about it.
It's always wondering, like, okay, what are the most common injuries for a kicker?
So
Other than accidentally tackling people and then getting injured, right? Like, what's the?
Okay, hold that thought, because the other thing is almost all of my injuries have come from missed tackles.
Mhm.
That's the true. Where Devin Hester came through, broke through the middle, he did the shake, and I was like, I jumped, didn't even touch him, and fractured my wrist. I didn't tell anybody because I was like, I'm not going to insult to injury, but I didn't lay a finger on Devin Hester and fractured my
You
wrist.
didn't even touch him and you oh, that's
I don't
sad.
think I touched him, and that looked bad. And then there's another game. I think it was Denver another time, and the guy's coming down, and I got him lined up again going down the sideline, and I go to hit him, and someone tackles him from behind. So I hit air, and land, and I partially separate my shoulder on the turf because I didn't hit anything. Yeah, stuff like that.
So no wonder coaches cringe. I used to think it was like, it's going to be a breakaway, touchdown. So they're cringing, going, please don't let my kicker get hurt.
Yeah, right.
Please don't let the kicker get hurt.
It is bizarre. It's you fool yourself. You're out there on the field with the guys, and you forget how big, fast, elite they are. And then you tangle yourself up in there a little bit, and you're like, I'm in over my head, baby. These guys are, and even like a guy like Hester or something, they're coming full speed. And I remember we're playing on Monday Night Football, and we kick off. Devin Hester brings it from 9 out, right? Because they're down like 8 or something. They got to score 9. They got to get 2 scores. He brings it out, and he busts it through. And again, I'm right there. I go run up. I'm right there. And so he's going to put the move on me, except this time he just runs right over the top of me. I have no idea what he's doing. So I wasn't ready because he wasn't supposed to do that. And I got up and he said something smart alecky to me. And I don't like something was weird. Like he thought I said something to him and he started, effing me out. And I was like, what are you doing? I don't know you from Adam. And you're supposed to go by me.
Oh, Jason.
And I got up. Anyways, I walked to the side.
I'm telling you, you cannot make this up.
No, I walked to the
These stories
sideline.
are hilarious.
This is true. I walked to the sideline, and the guys are like, "That's what's up, whatever. Great job, right up." And my ribs, I'm like, "Oh, I wasn't ready for that." And
You probably sat down and were like, what was his problem? I didn't
They're
even
like,
do anything.
Yeah, I was like, no, it just was all these weird things. They were like legitimate tackles or whatever. It's like the times when something weird happens, and now whatever. It's just kicker playing football, get hurt every time.
Love it. Okay, Mark, what you got?
It's kind of a two-parter, actually. We talked about how you kicked here for 20 years, which is absolutely amazing. Was there ever a guy that came into camp, and those kind of alluded to this, that you were a little bit worried about, that maybe he was going to take your job? I know that's kind of funny to say because it would never happen, but thinking in your perspective, did you think somebody maybe was pushing you really hard? And second, I think you might already answer this, who was the guy that you absolutely hated to kick to? And I think I know the answer from a couple of your answers earlier, but that's all I'm really wondering there.
Yeah, everybody that came in to camp was good. They were all good, and so you get into camp and That's why even if you knew I just signed a new contract and I was the guy, and they brought a guy in, it was good because there'd be a guy kicking and he wanted to do well. And so if there was a day when it was like, I'm tired, whatever, and all of a sudden this guy is hitting the ball good, it's kind of like, okay. And so it would always push you. So they're all good. We brought in Prater. Mm-hmm. We were the team. Stan Kwan was the assistant special teams coach. Maybe it was with Chuck Prefer at the time. I don't know if Stan Kwan was the head coach for a year or two. But he got Prater out of South Florida or Central Florida. I can't remember. Brought him up, and he was raw, but he was really good. And he could hit the ball. And I remember that was one of those guys that was like, ooh, wow. And was a young talent. And so we let him go, and he went somewhere and played for a little bit, and then was cut, and then was Denver, and then here, and he's one of the best. And you knew it when he first came in that he was the way he hit from a kicker standpoint. You watched it was like, that guy can really hit the ball. So he was obviously probably the best guy we had in camp since he's one of the best. Guys I hated kicking off to, I already said Devin Hester, because when he was with Chicago in his prime, people feared him. In fact, we had game plans where we're like, they can't beat us, but Devin Hester can. Mm-hmm. Literally, let their offense have the ball, but don't let Devin Hester have a chance. And I used to be furious because we had a game we played them where we did nothing but trick kicks for the whole game. Mm-hmm. We faked like 3 onside. We bloop. And as a kicker, I hated that because, one, it messed up my stats and the team stats. His average kickoff is to the 30-yard line. Well, I'm like, because that was the 8 kicks against Chicago where we squibbed it every time. Some of them worked. Yeah, some of them worked, and some of them were like, we'd run over, fake the onside, jump this way, kick it over to the 25. I'm not kidding you. I was so mad because I was like, let's play football. They're like, no, we are not playing football. And we beat them, and I just had to suck up my pride.
I remember that.
Yeah, and so he was a guy that people feared, and I think rightfully so.
That's funny you got that stats thing because Herman always gets upset when he would get the pass interference. Because that would mess up his stats.
Doesn't count. Yeah. But I'll take the yards. It gives the offense field position. You get down the field, but it doesn't shows that Martin Mayhew. I'd face him, and there'd be these pass interferences, and it's like, okay, you got 2 catches for 14 yards, but then you got 98 yards of pass interference call.
Yeah, there's little stuff in the game that stats will tell the whole story.
And not that the stats matter. Until it was contract time.
Yeah. Herman pulled out his spreadsheet of all the pass interferences.
No, it's just
No, there's little things like that, and that was one of them. Like, we'll start at the end of the year. Those 8 kicks that went 35 yards, mess up your whatever. So Hester was the guy. There's other great returners, but we faced him twice a year, and he was the man. So
Sure.
But what was it? Wasn't the Super Bowl? Didn't they always kick it off? Kicked it to Hester? Mm-hmm. Touchdown. So that was what people were afraid of. And of course, it was Devin Hester, but those special team, that kickoff return unit, once a guy is good like that, then guys are like going overtime for him. Because every time he touches the ball, like, this guy can take it to the house. So then the guys were fighting for him hard, and they were dangerous.
Mike, what you got? You got to have something.
First off, to the people in the chat, let's get the kicks, the likes up past 66. That is the longest field goal ever. Let's get, 75. We got the goat on, Jason Hanson. I got a question for you. Are you ready to suit up for 2022? We need a kicker, Jason. You're ready to suit up.
Good question.
Oh, man, my time has passed. I like the 2 guys that are having duke it out. I think they both are pretty good, especially the rookie.
All right, talk to Dose, because Dose is all about this competition. He's all about it.
That's like fire for him right now.
Yeah, he's all about the kicking competition.
That is the competition of camp. That is the preseason must. That's why you're going to stand outside a Ford Field on any of the preseason games. I don't know how many they have this year, but however many, that's what you're lining up outside for. Isn't that right, Dose?
That's what it's about. If you're going in those, we talk about the position battles. It's about the kicker battle. And you're right, we got Austin Seibert in there. We got Riley Patterson in there. I guess this ties together because I was thinking, like, I did the scouting course, and one thing that was never brought up, no one ever brings up the special teams. No one ever brings up, like, hey, this is what you look for in a kicker. So I wonder, to that with Riley Patterson and the Austin Seiberts, what maybe can you look for in those guys to be like, there's something there? Because you said, like, with Prater, it just kind of looked like he was going to have some leg. But, like, is there, like, a red flag, or it's like, well, that might be an issue going down the road? And is there something that you've seen in Riley Patterson or Seibert that you're like, he's got some potential there because of that?
Well, Seibert was hurt, right? And so he came out and had done well, but then battled injuries. And then Patterson, am I saying that right? Riley?
Yep. Riley Patterson.
He was like 14 or 15 at the end of the season, and just watching him from broadcast TV, I remember thinking, I really like what the ball looks like coming off his foot, kind of a kicker perspective. And so 14 for 15 is a big deal. And then the way the ball looked, I was like, man, that guy can kick, and looked really good. Now, I don't know what's going on in camp, and, they'll figure it out. But if Seibert beats him, then he's good, because that kid looked good. And so I don't know I don't know. And they both are probably super good, but it looked good. It looks like they got a good, after, Prater moving on and then kind of trying to figure out what to do. I think they got two guys that are going to fill the role. Whoever gets the battle is going to do well for them.
So what do you battle in a kicker battle? Like, what gets looked at?
Well, did you make the kick? Even
Other than that,
in practice, but they're also going to be looking. Coaches love power. They love leg speed. Any sport, coaches are infatuated with a guy that can hit the ball hard. But I don't know how their legs are comparable. So Fox, I think, kicks off. He kicks off well. I don't know if they want him to keep doing that, or if they want one of these guys to do that. If so, then leg speed, leg power is going to make a difference, because if they want this guy to kick and take that off of Fox's plate, if they're satisfied with him, then they're only going to be, with Fox kicking off, then they're only going to be worried about, can this guy make field goals? And then ultimately it's just consistency. So, all the kicks they've been doing, and I'm sure each day, I don't know if they alternate, or one day is one guy, one day is the other. Just get a bunch of kicks in and see. And they may know which guy they like, and they just want to make sure that which one of them is just kicking well the whole time, and be like, okay, he's the guy. I don't know. But, it's just straight up go out there and settle a competition.
Okay. All right, so we are running out of time, and I want to give it to the king of questions, Mr. Herman Moore. You always come up with something good. So you got to have something that's on your mind that you're wondering. Anything? You got anything?
I mean, the things I have is, all right, we talk a lot about sports, and we talk a lot about playing days. We evaluate the team. It's always that fun period we don't want to let get escape. I don't want that to escape us. So I just wanted to maybe throw a couple things at Jason, see if he would answer it. I mean, just so we all understand just the evolution of Jason Hanson and that whole nine. So first car you bought coming into the NFL.
First car I bought was a 2-door manual transmission Ford Explorer.
Paid for it.
They used to make, with my signing bonus, I think they made that car.
Did you use the X-Plan or A-Plan?
The X-Plan.
I didn't know that was available then, so I paid retail price. They were more than happy to take my money. Yeah, I think, a 2-door manual red Ford Explorer. I'm almost certain it was a Ford Explorer.
Bling, no bling.
No bling.
No bling.
For me, you're talking for me, right?
For you.
You can wear bling.
No, I'm saying, are you a bling or no bling guy?
Oh, I'm no bling.
All right, next.
I'm no bling.
Best dress, in your opinion, at any given time during your tenure as a Lion? It had to be a teammate.
Oh.
Because everybody, or worst dress. I'll let you go.
Nate Burleson.
Nate, okay.
Nate, fresh in my mind. He was priming himself for the broadcast while he was playing.
He was.
He was. So he always was. He was ready.
Favorite coach?
Fonts. Wayne Fonts. And I stick by that. Those years, not just because we had, you guys and Barry, we had some good teams, but I think he was the best at managing the team.
Any team but the Lions you could have played for, who would have been? And you had the opportunity to pick. And why?
I would have probably picked the Seahawks, because my home state, Spokane, where I grew up, is opposite side of the state, but that was kind of like the hometown team. So probably the Seahawks. But
if you weren't a football player, what sport would you have played?
Soccer, probably. I mean, the older me now wishes I had learned golf when I was younger, but I probably would do soccer. I was a soccer player and chose football over soccer.
Last question. If you weren't a professional football player as a career coming out of college, what do you think would have been your first job? Or where you would have ended up?
I was pre-med, so maybe something in the medical field. Maybe a doctor. I mean, that's
kind of
pre-med.
That's probably broad.
Hold on, I gotta ask this question you pulled out in another interview. Herman had this beauty. It was, if you could be any animal, not one of the mascots that was a part of the teams you were on, what animal would you be and why?
That's not funny. There's people who actually think they're animals today, right?
All right.
You can't, you're dodging the question.
Okay. What animal would I be?
Yeah.
And we've had some fun ones.
Lomas may or may not have said he would be a giraffe.
I mean, I'd like to answer for some other people, Lomas and Herman, but
Who would Herman be?
I can't go there. No, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I would be. What do you say I would be?
Armadillo.
An armadillo.
Come on, dude.
They said an armadillo. Armadillo. He was real quick with that too.
Look at that shiny plate on
then
top
you
of
go
that thing.
cool. He's got the defensive mechanisms, but then you go, he's kind of to himself, but man, he's unique. He's just one of a kind. He's Jason.
Yeah. You hear these guys? They're not liking that.
Wait,
That was
hold
a
up. Okay.
quick
If I
answer.
was-
Armadillo.
I think Jason would have been, I don't know, a grizzly bear. All of you would be like, no, not that.
Nah.
Nah.
Jason would have been I don't know, a gazelle or a cheetah or alligator. And he's like, no, great white shark, no. But if I go dolphin,
That's better than armadillo.
I could see a dolphin. I could get with the dolphin.
Armadillo's fine.
armadillo,
I don't know
man.
what- yeah.
I'm gonna go look up and I'm gonna see what are the unique characteristics and what makes the armadillo special.
What would you be, Herman?
What would I be?
Yeah.
I already said I'd be like a lion.
No, you can't pick lion.
All right, if I wasn't a lion, I'd be a jaguar.
Oh, well, that's a big far off choice.
No, only because it's an apex predator. I'm always gonna stay at apex.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm an orca.
Hello.
I'm gonna be
I
an
gotta be at the
orca.
top of the chain, man. I gotta be looking down. If you want to put me in the sky, I'm gonna be an eagle.
I believe
I gotta
that.
fly higher than any other bird. I'm just telling you.
I believe that.
I like that.
I
Why
like that.
accept good when great is available?
Anteater.
Jason the armadillo.
I'm gonna make a t-shirt about that.
But you could be
The
whatever.
armadillo.
But listen, man, we asked you what you could be. You could be anything you want.
Yeah, I don't know.
You didn't even know.
No, I don't know. I'm not good at that stuff.
You might have been like hummingbird or something. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Oh Lord.
There are.
I don't like
animals.
your random associations, man. I think they're speaking like what you really think.
If you go look at, I'm going a little higher than people. See, there's unique piece. That thing can fly all day, man. Flapping them wings and get the fastest wing flap and everything.
Hey,
Hey, listen.
I might actually take a hummingbird over armadillo.
Hey, Dose. I tell you, dude. I'm not
Look at the
medicated.
panel. They're just like, what's going on
listen,
right now?
everybody out there, all you gotta do is hit that like button.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we waiting on. If you like the button, then you know what? Then I'll calm it down. To Jason Hanson, man. That's a guy, man. He's a wonderful person, man. Let me see if I can find.
What are you?
All right,
gonna
we got
find?
one more
What are you
thing.
gonna find in there?
But they won't be able to see it. But we'll make sure that we get this posted. You have to go to Lions Nation Unite to be able to get it. But we got a nice little picture here, man, of you, Jason. You like that right there? Look at that.
Oh, look at your hair.
Look at that. Hey, when I first came to the team, so if I wasn't afraid to put my arms out right and do that whole thing, obviously I had way too much self-image. When I first came to the team, I could use a hairdryer, right? I would have a blow dryer. And, coming out of the 80s, like this, if I would happen to it. But I had to walk by Spielman's and Spindler
Spindler.
and Dan Owens, their lockers. And I wasn't reading the room because the fact that there was a dude walking by them in the locker room that was going to blow dry his hair, they couldn't hardly take it. I thought they were going to murder me. They hated it.
You just go and get your grooming on, man. That's all.
What color was it?
They weren't into the
What
grooming.
red was it?
Was it pink?
Man, armadillo and pink. What is happening here?
That color, man. That's all.
It was black. Some hair dryer, man. I don't know, but I needed it at the time. I don't need it anymore. But I just remember Spielman. He just would stare at me. I was like, that guy doesn't like me. And I think we actually get along. I don't think he liked the hair dryer. He was like, this isn't football, and I'm gonna do something about it soon.
Didn't they steal it?
I think they broke it. They stole it. They just were like, man, this is not football. So shortly after that, Spielman. In fact, I need to talk to him. I haven't seen him since he's been back. Spielman would call me Scotty Hamilton.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Remember that? He was like, I walked into the, no offense to figure skaters, right? They're athletic. But I'd walk into the weight room and Spielman would be like, what are you doing here? This is like we're athletes. This is why we're the football players are working out. He's like, you have no business being in here. Don't you have... And then he accidentally stumbled on the joke. He was like, don't you have some ring time somewhere? You figure skater, you got a big figure skating practice, right? Because that was the most anti-football thing, was a guy, spinning, dancing on ice. And that's when the lights came on, and he was like, you remind me of Scotty Hamilton. And from that day on, my nickname was Scotty Hamilton. So
He does
I'm
kind
over
of.
it.
You
I
kind
can't-
of
yeah,
look,
he's turned the ball
like
too.
Scotty Hamilton.
Yeah, whatever.
Could you do a backflip?
No, and terrible skater. They had it all wrong. But yeah, that was a crew back then, and I was young and had hair, and they were jealous.
There it is. Micro Mike, close us out.
Appreciate everybody joining us and talking to the great Jason Hanson, obviously the legend Herman Moore. A freaking awesome show. I appreciate everybody showing up. Make sure you guys hit that like button. We are 15 away. 1-5 with 128 in the building. Smash that like button. It pushes that content out there. And hey, everybody wants to hear the jokes between Herm and Jason Hanson. Appreciate it all. See you next week.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour. Take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder. Work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters. They're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve nouns. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't